While you were casually scrolling through TikTok in May, scrolling through TikTok in May of 2025, and I was making zero animation budget videos, history was being made on the other side of the world. The first freight train, like a cargo train, from Xi'an, China, rolled into Tehran, Iran, after 5,000 kilometers on the road or on the rails, and it took 12 or 14 days, right? That now 14 days is 2 weeks. That might sound like a lot, but that's about half the time it would have taken that freight or cargo if it took a sea route, the shortest sea route from China to Iran. This isn't just another train route. This is the resurrection of the ancient Silk Road from the east to the west, right? From East Asia to Europe, but with steel rails instead of camel caravans. Now, here's why this matters globally. Right now, if you order something from China, it probably travels by ship from Europe. If you order from Europe something from China, it travels by ship through narrow waterways that could be shut down overnight. The Straits of Malacca, near India, could be closed. It's one political decision away from being shut. The Suez Canal, well, we've seen how a single ship can be stuck in that and paralyze global trading. Anything pops off in Egypt, in the Middle East, right? The Suez Canal might close. Now, China just said, not today, to that vulnerability. That was a faceless man reference, talking to death from Game of Thrones. Anyway, this railway cuts shipping times in half and creates a land bridge that no navy can block, right? Even the enemies of Iran or China or both. Iran's developing economy is expected to be hungry for Chinese goods soon, as sanctions mean less and less because they're Western-led, and the world that's not West is rising quite fast. And of course, US is still in talks with Iran to some extent to lift those sanctions even, potentially. So soon, the Persian lion might rise up and need more goods because their population is wealthier and they can't really reach goods from other places because of the US-led sanctions, so they'll have to come from China. And even actually in the West, obviously, most things come from China. Anyway, so China needs secure access to the Middle East and Central Asia. Now, the other way around, China also needs secure access not to export, but to import Middle Eastern oil, ideally with alternative routes like this one, because if the Straits of Malacca or the Strait of Hormuz is closed down, where's China going to get its oil? Probably still from the Middle East, but using a land route, right? With container traffic, over rails. Now, with container traffic over land rail right now between China and Iran up 260% in just the first half of this year, this isn't a future project. It's happening right now. Freight train travels once a week, both ways, and is expected to ramp up to once a day, so 7 times more as time goes by. Now, the capability at the dry port in Tehran, where it receives these Chinese freight trains, can accommodate a whopping 30 trains a day. So the ceiling is really high for the logistics here. When geopolitical tensions rise and sea routes become stormy waters, right? Pun there. Anyway, sorry. This steel-tracked lifeline could become one of the world's most important highways. And many even said Israel's recent panicked preemptive strike may have something to do with this track. As you take out Tehran, you take out the overland link from China all the way to Europe. Tehran is like the linchpin, as I've heard it described as in a previous video. So we'll get to all that in another video, potentially. For now, the Silk Road isn't just connecting 2 countries. It's connecting 2 continents and preparing the global south, at least to the Central Asian part, for a real supply route struggle as an alternative, if one is needed. For the unbiased news and analysis without the Western spin, I'm Mahfouz, and I'll see you on the next one.